Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be listening to this podcast. Welcome back to the Same Old Arsenal. Tonight we are plenty of things to talk about. The debacle at Anfield, our transfer policy, and of course today, or only a couple of hours ago, the announcement that we've got no money. I don't know how that's quite possible, considering we're owned by two fucking billionaires. But apparently we've got no money for transfers. And there won't be any more signings. So, we're kind of in a bit of trouble, I think, as a club and as a fan base. There's, we've been scrolling through Twitter today. Everyone's losing the rag. I lost the rag even. You can go and watch that on Full Time Reaction if you want. If you want to see me losing the rag. Absolutely bewildering. Absolutely bewildering. Tonight we are joined by two very good friends of mine. It's great to have them back on for their debut shows. I think we've picked a good one to bring them on. Of course, these boys need no introduction. Mr. Troopz and Mr. DT. How are you, boys?
Yeah, could have been better, innit?
I like.
Could be a little bit better, but
Troopz is all right, man. He's still got weed to keep him happy, man.
Judge, how are you, Judge?
I've been better. I've got to say that, I have been better. I feel like I've just gone back into the 1980, 83, 82, was it, with Terry Neal era. I feel that I've gone back in time, and somebody said today, which is a good thing, it's like being back in the Terry Neal era, but at least it was honest. At least it was honest crack. It's now, you know what I mean? And it's so true. I'm so disillusioned by everything. We've just been speaking off here. I feel like I don't want to go no more. I really don't. I felt sorry for the guys up there on Sunday. I really did.
Yeah, of course you did. While you were sitting back drinking fucking pina coladas in the sun.
Well, I did go back and dive in the pool, and I tried to keep my head under there for fucking long enough. But no, I did feel sorry. I couldn't help it. I did feel sorry for every single fan going up there. I don't feel sorry for anybody like the Arsene Wenger, the players or whatever. I just felt for those fans, because if I wasn't on holiday and it wasn't my birthday, I would have been there with them. And I just felt for them. And I felt, I see the pictures of Troopz and Johnny Shot and Ty, and it just sums up how Arsenal fans are feeling at the moment. And I feel sorry for myself for being an Arsenal fan, and I feel sorry for every other Arsenal fan out there at the moment. We've been definitely conned, and there's just nothing we can do about it. I feel like if it was like, you was buying something from a shop or something, you could go and report them for fraud. I really do, but that's how I feel.
Did you get those headphones on the plane?
I got a brand new set of those, one for my birthday.
Oh,
right. Ted Baker ones, very nice.
Jeez, what ones?
Ted Baker, bit of leather. That is.
Ted Baker. Yeah. What does he make, cakes or something?
He makes very good shirts apparently, but I tell you what, he makes good headphones as well.
Oh, does he? Good. Troopz, let's start with you, mate. Let's start with the debacle at Anfield on Sunday. Your Arsenal Fan TV interview is the first time I've ever heard you speak normally. And what I mean by that is, I don't mean I don't mean what you say and your mannerisms. I mean, you just talked normally. There was no shouting. There was no ranting. You spoke with a quiet voice. And I could just feel the sadness.
Yeah, it felt disappointment in it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Seeing you, because you're so upbeat all the time. All right, when we lose, you can go on a little bit of a rant. When we win, you can go on a winning rant, whatever. But seeing you there Sunday, mate, I tell you, what was it like, Troopz, being in the crowd?
It was sad, fam. Like, you just look around and like nobody like had faith in the team, blood, and like. When their managers on the pitch and they're not even like giving 100%. You can just tell their heads. They're not. The way I was looking at it was like they don't want to play for Wenger no more. None of them. It looks like none of them have faith in the man. You understand? So I don't really see the point of them giving him the new deal. And it felt like a funeral, fam. You understand? It was like everyone was in mourning. Like everyone should have turned out blacked out. Everyone should have come in all back blood, because that's what it felt like. I've never been in a ground and felt like that, blood. Like I was at the 5-1 in Munich, the 5-1 in Emirates as well, and it wasn't as bad as that, blood. That was something else, fam. Like even the 8-2, like I wasn't at the 8-2 Man United, but like I watched that in my yard. I watched every goal go in, and with the 8-2, like we had a little chance, like in the start, like, and then obviously from Ashley Young bent that banger in, it just went tits up, blood. But at Anfield, it was just like from the game with Arsenal, yeah, you know if we're gonna win. From the kickoff, you can tell if we're gonna win the game, blood. And from we kicked off, yeah, I knew that we're fucked, blood, innit? Like we're straight up on our fuck, fam. And I never saw DT until the end of the game. And when I see him is when them little fuckers took the picture of us lot. And DT's looked up at me, and DT just looked at me, and I was just shaking my head, fam. Like it's just heartbreaking, fam. You understand? Like you give everything for this club, blood. Like you give everything, fam. And the shit people say about me, like, I want us to lose to get more views and shit like this, and Robbie's in it for the fucking money and all this bollocks, blood. And that picture, fam, it just shows you, fam. You understand? Like my interview after as well, like DT still got the fire in his belly. For me, Wenger's killed me, blood. Simple as, fam, innit? He's killed my spirit, fam. And Kroenke as well, blood, because Kroenke, he's the main problem, blood. Because I've also realised that if we get out Wenger and Kroenke stays, the next man that comes in is going to be the same fucking thing, blood. It's going to be the same shit happening over and over again. It's going to be repetitive, fam. So what we have to actually do is get this Kroenke guy to sell, and then we can get Wenger out, blood. Because I think it's more important to get Kroenke out, blood. Because I think if our next man comes in, he'll force Wenger to spend, blood. And if he don't spend, he'll sack him, blood. He's got no choice but to sack him, blood. For me, he has to go anyway. But everyone knows how I'm going with this Wenger out thing. Like, I don't give a shit no more, innit? Like, I've said, like, I've put the seatbelt on and I'm ready for the ride, blood. I'm ready for this next 2 years, so it's going to be a hell of a ride, blood. Every Arsenal fan, get me? Maddest roller coaster you've seen in your life, blood. It's because it's going to get worse, fam.
Yeah, I said it earlier on. I think it's going to be, people thought it was bad last year, but if what we're hearing is true, I mean, it's going to get worse. DT, Troopz touches on the subject there of Kroenke. And, is it Wenger, is it Kroenke? Now, just to play devil's advocate on it, the board have come out and told us they've got no money. If they haven't got no money, then Wenger can't spend it, can he?
They're both as culpable as each other. It's plain and simple. They're all in it together. Every single one of them. If the board have lied to Arsene Wenger, then he should do the honourable thing as a man and come out and say, I'm resigning. I was promised X, Y, Z. They've made me look an idiot. I promised 100% that Oxlade-Chamberlain was not going to be sold. We've sold him. I promised that Alexis Sanchez was not going to be sold. He might still be sold. The club have sold us up the river, and I don't want to be a part of this. Bye-bye. But he does want to be a part of this, and he allows it. And I can think of 10 million reasons why he allows it. The guy took us into 5th place and gave us our worst ever season under the most unbelievably toxic atmospheres at games. And he gets a £2 million pay rise. And I just sit there and I'm just like, really? And I've got people trying to tell me this guy loves the club. What he should have done is say to the club, look, let's stick to exactly what I'm on. I'll do the 2-year deal. We go... and a lot of us actually thought that he was going to go out there and go for one last big bang, one big tilt to really go and, send him off into the sunset with trophies and whatnot. And, the season started and, we're linked to players and, we got Kolasinac sorted early. Lacazette, let's be real about this. At the end of the day, if Atletico Madrid hadn't been transfer banned, we wouldn't have got him. And then nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now we've gone from being linked with Mbappe, Lamar, etc., to Johnny fucking Evans. Are you serious? I'm sorry, no disrespect to Johnny Evans, and I actually think he's probably better than half of our defenders at the moment. But we didn't leave Highbury to be bidding for Johnny fucking Evans from West Bromwich Albion. Right? We've got players in this club that have just leached on, and the reason why they're leeching on is because of the big contracts they've been given. Only one person gave them contracts. That's Arsene Wenger. People need to understand something very, very clearly. We have a CEO in Ivan Gazidis. We have a chairman in Chips Keswick. They are just people. They have no power in Arsenal Football Club whatsoever. They have as much power in that club as you and me. They have nothing. Only two people have power at Arsenal, and that's Arsene Wenger and Stan Kroenke. Now, while Stan Kroenke's fucking off in America, building his new stadiums and using us as insurance purposes to get his loans, he leaves everything to Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger rules everything. When Ivan Gazidis said that I want, catalyst for change and there's going to be all of these things, I genuinely believe that Ivan Gazidis thought that was what's going to happen. This is what's going to be. But Arsene Wenger has overruled everything. And the person who's allowed him to do that is Stan Kroenke. Now, I've heard that there's huge fallouts within the club. There's players disillusioned. We all have heard about Ramsey and Koscielny having a row at half-time. And you've got Aaron Ramsey calling Koscielny a shit captain. You've got Koscielny then starting on Alexis and saying that, he just does whatever he wants, turns up for training and he's a problem, blah, blah, blah. If players are moaning about Alexis first and foremost, the ones that are moaning about him are the ones that are moaning because here's a guy that actually challenges mediocrity. Here's a guy that actually makes them uncomfortable because there's too many people at Arsenal that are comfortable and they can just stroll all the way through it. In many respects, I am angry about Oxlade-Chamberlain. I am angry about it because I feel that we stuck by him for 6 years. He had a lot of injury problems and, we had no choice but to play him in different positions because every time we gave him a chance in a place, he would never cement that or he would get injured. So it was a case of, well, you're just going to have to take what you're given at the moment until you start proving yourself. He proved himself over the last few months. Him and his advisors have led the club on all summer that they were going to sign a new contract and he's gone. But on the flip side, I've got to give him some praise because he's actually got the balls to turn around and say, I'm not doing it anymore. I could have lived that comfortable life at Arsenal and I could have got a contract worth up to 180 grand. But you know what? I'm going to go to Liverpool for 120 grand and I'm going to play for a club that look like they want to go somewhere. A manager that looks like they want to win. They've gone out this summer and showed their intent. They've got back in the Champions League and they've gone, right, here we go, let's do it. Now, if they sign Van Dijk tomorrow, for example, they're a serious outfit. Liverpool are a serious outfit. I think they're just missing that central defender just to finish them off. Although we made their defence look like prime Maldinis and whatnot, didn't we? So it's just, the club's in a mess. The club is in an absolute mess. And Stan Kroenke is sat in America and I bet he doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. And Arsene Wenger, people will say, yeah, he takes the blame and everything else. Listen, Arsene don't take the blame. Arsene's the one that puts all this on himself. I'm sick to death of seeing people trying to defend him. Still trying to defend him. They will do anything to take the blame away from Arsene. Even, when you sit there and say to him, okay, fine. If the money's not Arsene's fault, explain to me why he played a right back at left back. Explain to me why he's been playing two left backs at centre back. Explain to me why Lacazette was on the bench for Welbeck. They don't want to answer that. They don't want to, if you're talking pure football, Arsene Wenger is finished. Look at the way the team's set up. Look at the way the team plays. Look at the way the players are playing for him. We could sign Ronaldo and Messi tomorrow and we'd still struggle to get in the top four. What does that say about the man? He's finished.
Yeah, he's finished, yeah. He is, and I totally agree with you, mate. We've spoke together on podcasts and shows before, and we share the same view that we want him to go. But that little bit in the back of my head was thinking, like you there now, the little bit in the back of my head was, he's going to go out of a bang now. 2 years now, he's going to spend some money. He's going to show the world, he's going to show all these haters what he can do. And at the end of his 2-year contract, he's standing in the middle of the pitch with a big banner saying, fuck the haters and walk out. I would have loved to have seen that. He left the club on a high, back into the Champions League, some world-class players, left the club on a high, and left it good for the next man. Lee Judges. We're supposed to be talking about the Liverpool game, but I don't see how we can really. And to be honest, there's not much to talk about, is there? But the news tonight, Lee, that we've got no money. There's no money for transfers.
I can't stop laughing. Seriously,
it's ludicrous.
Just listening to that, seriously.
We got no fee.
Yeah, can someone just can one of the listeners out there please go and check something for me? Sorry to interrupt, but can someone? I think that when we first moved from Highbury to the Emirates and we went through that really, really tough few-year period, did we spend more money in the transfer window then than we are now?
Probably.
Can someone just find that out for me to see if we actually...
And I'll bet we have. Judge.
Listen, I just want to say a couple of things. I know Troopz and DT when I go to the games, and let me tell you, every time you see Troopz before a game, he's always happy and bubbly and all that. And then after the game, he's not. If we've lost, and I have to say, watching it on Sunday, it's like someone's just taken the heart out of the fans. It's just how you feel, and you can't really gauge that unless you're there. And just a couple of things on I've got to come out, but it's not a bash you, and it certainly isn't from me, of Arsene Wenger. There's no agenda for me about Arsene Wenger. I go on the facts. I look at what he's doing at the moment, and he's just not. He's not there. You know what I mean? Like Jurgen Klopp, I think, and I'm not no disrespect to Liverpool. I think we've got better players, but let's get it right. Xhaka and Aaron Ramsey were outclassed by Chang and Henderson. Let's get that right. Chang and fucking Henderson. Now, one, your personal pride should never let that happen, but it has. And two, it just shows you that a manager can get those two players to outclass, well, I think, two quality players. Just shows you what manager he is. That he's getting the best out of what he possibly can. And I look at Arsenal, and we're just not getting the best out of our players, Craig. And that's the simplest fact that it is. You know what I mean? I look at Aaron Ramsey for Wales, and I watch a different player. It's like his fucking brother's playing. You know what I mean? Like he's an absolute outstanding player. Xhaka is getting worse every week. I'll be honest, he's getting worse every week.
I jinxed him.
I still think, but I look at him, and he should be a really good player. Danny Welbeck missed more chances last week against Stoke than we've created in 4 games, and he gets in the team. Over Lacazette. Logically, can anybody answer that? No. I can't emphasise that much. Mesut Ozil gets a lot of criticism and all that, but realistically, what has he done in the last 3 or 4 games? What's he do away from home for us? The way we're set up, right, as a team away from home, he's a liability, and that ain't his fault. It's just the way, you've got to play a player like him. He's a luxury player. The way our defence and the way we're set up defensively, it's crumbling. You can't have somebody that's weak at defending playing. We don't get the ball very often because we're up against it. So what's the point of him playing? It's just everything about the team's managed wrong. If you're going to play Mesut Ozil, you put 2 big like Patrick Vieira and Emmanuel Petit in front of behind, then him in front. Then you're going to see Mesut Ozil at his very, very best. You're not going to see it with Xhaka and Ramsey in there. It's shameful. I'm a fan, and I can see all this. So surely these people can see it. And as for going on to the money thing, listen, Spurs are building a new stadium. It's fucking bigger than ours, right, at the end of it. They're spending money. They've spent 60 million pound on 2 players that we could do with a right back and a centre half. They've gone and done it, and they've got this 800 million pound debt over them, and they're fucking yids for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it, and they're spending money. Why has every club in this country got money? Why? Why have Huddersfield got money? Why have Huddersfield spent more money this season than they have last season? Because they're in the Premier League. So where is our money coming from? Liverpool. Liverpool, we get bigger crowds in Liverpool. Right? Now, people go on about Everton. I'm going to go on about Everton now. Everton have sold £90 million in Lukaku. Right? They've still spent it. They spent it on other players. Arsenal have picked up 60, 70 million. You know, and we've not spent it. We're the only club that's made profit in a transfer window. The money men at Arsenal, they're brilliant. How can we make money? I'll tell you how we can make. We can make money, and we can make free kits, and we can get all those mugs to go and buy all those kits, all the training tops that go. We do that every year now. We make money on that. We tell the fans that they've got to spend out the most money because it's such a lovely stadium. So we go and spend all the most of the money, and then we haven't made quite enough. I'll tell you what we can do. We can make it in the transfer market. We can lie about it and say before they buy their season tickets, we're in for McPappy or whatever his fucking name is, and then and then we can go and once we've all bought our season tickets and everything like that. We'll tell you what we do. We'll sell Chesney. We'll sell the Ox. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm telling you this now. If Manchester City come in with a 70, 80 million pound offer tomorrow, bye-bye Alexis.
Yep.
Bye-bye Alexis. You know what I mean? Like, that is guaranteed.
100%.
Right? And who are we going to get? Going to be, well, I'll tell you what, we can play Iwobi in that position. That's what's going to happen. Nothing against Iwobi, but that is what's going to happen. I've already hearing people turning around and saying, Reece Nelson will play on the right instead of Chamberlain. Like, he's 17. Let's get into some perspective there. He's 17. You know what I mean? I know, like somebody said the other day, we relied on Cesc Fabregas when he was 16. He was an exception. He was an exception. But you can't keep, the thing is, what I'll say about it, guys, is 10 years ago, when we started all this thing with Arsene Wenger, it's a fantastic job what he done to keep us in the top 4, churning it out. But the fact of the matter is, with all the money coming into football now, teams have got better. I.e., since that stadium has been, Chelsea, Manchester City have become powerhouses that they weren't before, let's be honest. And, Stoke now are spending money. West Brom, look at them today. You know what I mean? Like, all these teams are improving.
Jesus.
You have to look at it and say, well, if all these teams are improving and we're not, we're just going to go donk, 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 donk. Mm-hmm. And that's the trouble now. Like, to have no money. Well, I want to ask the question: if there's no money, how comes Tottenham are spending? How comes West Brom are spending? Stoke are spending? Huddersfield? How comes?
Fucking Watford.
Watford.
Do you know that Fleetwood Town has spent more money than us this year?
Do you know what? You know that question that I asked?
DT spent that on his fucking telly more than what we've done.
Listen.
The nice bed sit you got there, mate.
It's not bad for a little bed sit, is it, apparently?
You get me?
Oh, Jesus.
What's really happening? Back tomorrow, Troopz, don't worry.
Yeah. No, I went...
It's display model, fake one.
I went and...
yeah, switch it on.
Turn it on. My neighbours went on holiday and I broke in their house just to sit in there while... you know what I mean? But listen, we was talking about how much we spent since we moved into Emirates in 2006. In the 2006-07 season, we spent $6,400,000. And the key players were Alex Song, Lucas Fabianski, Denilson, and William Gallas. In 2007-08, we spent 17.7 million, and the key players were Bakary Sagna and Eduardo. In 2008-09, we spent 36.55 million, and the key players were Arshavin, Ramsey, Nasri, Sylvestre. We go into 2009-10, and we spent £10 million, and the key player was Thomas Vermaelen. 2010-11, we spent 14.5 million, and the key players were Koscielny, Sebastian Schillaci, Marouane Chamakh. Fuck my life. And then 2011-12, we spent 54.15 million, and that was when we went on that trolley dash on the final day.
Supermarket sweep.
We got Arteta, and we got Mertesacker, we got Oxlade-Chamberlain, we got Gervinho, Yossi Benayoun, Andre Santos, Cole Jenkinson. Fuck my life. How did all they work out? Wow, what? Jesus.
Andre Santos.
Yeah, 2012-13, we spent 48.3 million. And that's when we brought in Cazorla, Giroud, Podolski, Monreal. And yeah, that's where it's up to. It's just like, so yeah, we were still actually spending more money when we first moved into the Emirates. We was having to sell our best players. We were breaking up the Invincibles, and we was on a budget. And is it any coincidence that we've been non-competitive since Stan Kroenke took over the club?
What year did he actually take over?
Yeah, it was about that. He and do you remember what was his famous quote that he said, that you don't buy football clubs to
win things? Yeah,
you know,
he said if if you wanted to win trophies, you wouldn't buy a football club. That was the exact quote.
Yeah, and the thing is, right, there's a message that I need to get out to a few people, right? And 140 characters is not enough to say this, but I know Craig's probably sitting back in his seat now thinking, oh, fuck me.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm not actually going to do that.
Part 2.
Hello, boys and
Right,
girls.
so I've actually grown a pair of bollocks since then, so I'll just fucking cut you off.
And it's like, you wouldn't. You just want the views. It's fine. But it's, no, really, what you put me off my stride now. I forgot what I was going to fucking say. But it's, yeah, I actually have as well. Fuck,
You had a message. You said that 140.
Yeah, he had a message.
Oh, no.
What was the message? Yeah, I forgot. It's a great message that was, wasn't it? That you put me right off my fucking stride, man.
That's what it's just what it's doing to us. See?
Do you know what? Yeah,
You can't take the live. You can't take the live pressure anymore, mate.
No, do you know what it is? Do you know what? I've got so much in my head at the moment. I've got so much going on. People don't understand how much a football club means to people. Like when you're so devoted to it. And they don't get it, and it's like, it's just a game, it's just this and that. It's just like, you know what, when Arsenal lose on a Saturday, the rest of my weekend's finished. And it's just like, and it ain't until, you know, you get home and you see your kids and stuff like that, that it kind of brings you back to reality, and you're like, okay, yeah, cool. You know, this is real life here. But them moments from a game, it's a lonely place. It's a lonely place, man. And it's, you know, you look at Troopz and the picture that came out and stuff. That's real emotion. That's raw. That's just, yeah. And yes, now here we go. Right, my memory's come back. Woo! And that's on again. No, people say that the protest didn't work last year. Now, what I'll say to that is bullshit. And the reason why I'll say that is because the screw really started turning on the club. The world's media were all involved. Every protest they were getting, it doesn't matter whether there was 2, 3, 4, 500 people, whatever it was turning the screw. Now, I watched an interview recently with Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV with an agent guy that he does some work with. Now, the credibility of this agent is second to none. This was Maradona's agent. This is the guy that actually helped form the Premier League as we know it. He knows Arsene Wenger personally. He knows things that none of us will ever know. And he turned around and said that Josh Kroenke wanted to sell Arsenal last year. He was desperate to get rid of Arsenal. The pressures, everything. He was like, he turned around to his dad and he was just like, we need to sell. We need to get out. But it was Stan that was not budging. And then we went on that good run towards the end of the season and we won the FA Cup and the pressure started to die down and things started smoothing over. Do you really think that Usmanov would have put in the bid he did without knowing that they were close to selling? Usmanov didn't wake up one morning and just go, you know what, here's a load of money, go. There's a reason why he made that bid, because there were talk that they were close to selling. So if we up the protests and we make them a little bit more extreme, if for argument's sake, then I think that, it will really turn the screw. And I think the one thing that we can all agree on at Arsenal is that we want Stan Kroenke out. Whether you're Wenger in, Wenger out, whether you like Arsenal Fan TV, whether you don't like it, or whatever, all your opinions are. I think that's where fans need to start joining forces. Fans need to actually turn around now and start growing a pair of balls. Stop going onto Twitter and talking about that you want to hold banners with me, you want to do protests. And then when it comes to it, you're not there. Do you know what I mean? Back your talk. Absolutely. This is our club. If you want this to end, if you want all of this farce to finish, if you don't want teams to laugh at us anymore, if you want us to be the big bollocks again, then let's get our club back. Because until then, we ain't going to get that, and we're going to get laughed at every year, and we're going to get mugged off every year. And it's not going to be because of Arsenal Fan TV, and it's not going to be because of Troopz or me or anyone like that. It's going to be because of what the fuck happens on and off the pitch within the club.
Absolutely, mate. I have to agree with you.
I think it's a great point, but the point that I think why it breaks down is because it's like last season it was personal on Wenger. You know what I mean? And I think that there is a divide about Arsene Wenger, and I understand the reasons why there is that divide. I do believe there are a lot of people that still support him, and I do believe there's a lot of people that don't want to disrespect him. But I think that if everybody says, right, it ain't about Wenger now, it's about getting the ball out, because I think at the end of the day, everybody can see that the ball has lied, it's failed us. I think that it will get a bit more support. And it is up to the fans now to voice their opinion. How we're going to do that, I don't know, but it's got to be voiced and done properly.
I can't stress enough that, and I'll bring Troopz. I'll bring Troopz back in. I can't stress enough, Troopz. At this moment in time, it's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with being Wenger in or Wenger out. This is. We have got to get rid of this man, Kroenke. Big time. You know, he's the one that's milking us. He's the one taking all the money. Like I said, this is. I can't stress enough. This at the moment has got nothing to do with what side of the fence you're on. What can we do, Troopz? What do you suggest that the fans do to try and get this man out?
The only way, I don't know. You see Kroenke, yeah? This is his little treasure. You understand? He gets all his peas from this. If something goes wrong, he runs to us and gets the money and uses it. If he wants to buy something, he uses the money from Arsenal. So it's going to be difficult to make him sell. The only way is probably the protesting and to pull out Kroenke banners like every game. Like it would have to get proper hostile. It would have to get mad for him to, because it looked like the only way you can get to him is through getting to his son. You understand? And if you get to his son, then you get Kroenke. But he said he had the St. Louis Rams, yeah, and he said he wouldn't move them. And what happened? He moved them from St. Louis to LA. Imagine he moved Arsenal to Liverpool. Are you fucking mad? You understand? Are you fucking mad, blood? I will fully catch a flight out to LA, blood. You understand? And look for this brother, blood. You get me? Because there's gooners out there, blood, in LA, blood, that tweet me all the time, fam. You understand? So it's not a problem, blood. You get me? I've got family out there as well, blood. It ain't a thing, blood. You get me? But be it like, he won't sell, fam. He will not sell, blood. He won't sell, fam. Me and DT were talking a couple weeks ago, and he won't sell until he's dead. He's here until he dies. Stan Kroenke is here until he dies. I can't see that man selling. I swear down. He probably don't even give a shit that the club shop got robbed today. He probably don't even know. He probably don't even know. He don't even fucking know.
No, he probably does know, because he probably organised the robbery so he could claim insurance.
Fucking rat. He's a fucking scumbag like that, bloody. He'll do something like that as well.
And the thing is, have you seen the lettering on the shirts? What kind of fucking idiot would want to rob them?
Do you understand? The thing's all peeling off. Look, come on, bruv. Like, It's a fucking joke, bruv. Like, they just... Oh, man. I don't know how you can get Conky out, blood. I ain't got a clue, fam. It's a challenge, blood. You understand? You have to plan it proper. It's like a proper operation.
Do you know what? The only way... There's two ways. Stan is a money man, okay? Now, if somebody came in with a stupidly over-the-top offer, then he would sell. Stupidly over the top. Or, as Troopz says, when he's dead. Because when he dies, everything goes to Josh. And I don't think Josh has got the mindset he has. And, Josh is the type of person, like I said, he was the one that was trying to convince his dad to sell last season.
I heard that as well.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I just feel that is going to be the only way. It really is going to be the only way, because it's just, but the problems go so far back, and I look at it and I sit there and I think about, Lady Bracewell giving away her shares and everything else. And I just sit there and think, I hope you're fucking happy sat on that money, you bitch, because you're the one who's helped put us in this fucking mess. And for a lot of people that sit there and talk about bringing David Dean back, just remember David Dean was the one who introduced Conky to the fucking board in the first place. So David Dean's not getting away with this. All right, we need a fresh, clean slate throughout. None of this fucking bringing back or whatever. Everything needs to change. I was looking at it earlier on, right, and I sat there and I thought to myself, people going, let's say Wenger, for argument's sake, turns around and goes before Christmas or whatever. It goes tits up. It's so bad. It's so toxic. The reporters were already asking him on Sunday and saying there was loud chants of Wenger out in the stands. So he knows already it's on him. He knows. He's not stupid. Well, yeah, he is stupid, but he knows. And I'm looking at it and I'm sitting there thinking, what could we honestly do? And I right now, to get us through the rest of the season, if, for instance, he went, I would take someone like Patrick Vieira and Henry,
yeah,
to come and just steady the ship for the rest of the season until we can rebuild in the summer. Do you know what I mean? And I look
give
at
it end of season gigs there.
There's someone within the club that knows the club that the players would respond to. If for argument's sake, Vieira was in charge just for the rest of the season and he came in to try and steady the ship, do you think these players would actually respond to him? I think they would. Of course they would. They would look up to him. He's a legend. One of our greatest ever captains alongside Tony Adams and Frank McClintock. Top three, them three are the top three captains in our history. And it's just, I look at those things and I just, because they're not playing, and people can sit there and say he's got no experience and this and that. And I know the clubs are different, but let's say for argument's sake, Real Madrid, when they appointed Zidane, yeah, they were taking an almighty gamble and appointing him. Former player, but they were like, you know what? He knows the club. He loves the club. The players that are here will look up to him. They will respect him. And the rest is history. Look exactly what he's gone and won. And I'm not expecting us to go off and do that. This is about the way the players respond. Because, like Lee said, we've got a better team than Liverpool. But yet, look how they're responding to Jurgen Klopp. And look how we're responding to Arsene Wenger. That's what this is about. And I just think that someone like that, the players would automatically look up to him in the dressing room. He would automatically pick out the fucking weak links as well and go, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Or he could maybe put a shoulder around them, and those weak links might actually have only been a weak link around Arsene Wenger.
I have to say about Arsene Wenger, though, watching him on Sunday, I don't know how you got. He looks a broken man.
Yeah.
I actually look at him, and I'm not going to. I did tweet it on Sunday. I felt a little bit sorry for him. I don't feel sorry for him now because it's too much has gone on. But he just looks like a lost puppy. I can't explain it. He looks frail. He looked weak. When he talks a load of crap. Some of the things he comes out with are not quite the ticket no more. And I just think that even if the board have left him out to dry, what sort of people are these to let a man like that be left like that and let him
like DT
go
said,
like that?
what kind of man is Arsene Wenger to
let it happen?
I
just think he looks an ill man, Craig. I really do. I just I've
said it for a long time. We've talked about that on previous podcasts. Let me say something that I didn't really want to say, but I will. I've got a friend here who has a very high up job somewhere, and he reckons that he doesn't support Arsenal, but he says when he watches him, he reckons he's suffering from bipolar. That he shows all the signs of it.
Dementia, more like.
Well, yeah. His stubbornness. The way he talks, the way he acts, the way he says something one week and then he says something the other week. He said if he was doing a study on him, he'd probably go a little bit deeper into the study. And it hates me to have to say something like that, but I just thought I'd share it with you. I'm not saying he has got it, but I'm saying that a professional person is looking at him like that. I
just think with Arsene Wenger, Craig, one of his problems is he's got nothing else. Got no marriage, no more. The only thing that he's got is Arsenal Football Club. Now, I can appreciate that he doesn't want to lose that. You know what I mean? Like, so he'll try and hold on to it as best he can. But somewhere in life, you've got to turn around. It's like saying to us all on here, right? You can't watch Arsenal no more. Right? You can't watch it no more. It's going to be a hard thing to do. It's the same with him. You can't manage it no more. But somewhere along the line, someone's got to take that away from him because he's not going to give it up. And I understand that to a certain degree. He doesn't want to give it up. But someone's got to be man enough at that football club to say, no, enough's enough. And I look at things. Ian Wright, big fan of his. Lee Dixon, big fan of his. Martin Keown, big fan of his. Have all come out in the last 2 weeks and criticised him. You have a look at Ian Wright. He was staunch him for a long time. Quite rightly so. Tony Adams and Paul Merson have come out and been pillar-brick. But all those legends, right, and now, couldn't they come in and out? Why doesn't he have any of them about? Because he's a control freak. These guys would. He said, I've been reading Ian Wright's autobiography. He used to say in the dressing room, and Wenger didn't do nothing because Tony Adams would say, right, you do this, you do that, I do this, I do that. Right, so his job was made easy. So why don't he make his job easy again by employing these people? It's so many things wrong about our football club. We could be here for 24 hours, and we'd still be going on about all the wrongs of this football club at the moment. You've got to ask your questions. Who is in charge of our transfer policies? Who's in charge of our negotiations? I'm not being horrible. They ain't doing their jobs properly, Craig. They should be sacked.
I just got a fucking new negotiator.
Yeah, I'd be sacked if I didn't do my job properly.
Right.
I don't see why any other people should stay in a job if they're not doing their job properly, whether it's a multi-million-pound football manager or not. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ask you for some questions, lads. If you're watching, send them to Same Old AFC. Obviously, tonight we've got a lot of viewers. Don't mind. I have no problem saying it because we've got Troopz and DT on. So if I don't read out your question, sorry, but I expect.
Can I say as well? Like the Telegraph are just reporting at the moment as well. They're putting. Obviously, I take a lot of this stuff with a pinch of salt because it just pisses me off. But they're saying that Manchester City have sent delegations to Chile and in anticipation of finalising a deal for Alexis. Well, that would actually be tapping up if they did that, and they haven't got our permission. Now, I listened to Ornstein earlier on, and he's the mouthpiece of Arsenal, and he turned around and said, it's very unlikely that Arsenal are going to sell Alexis. Their stance has not changed. He's not for sale. The only way that they would, there's not even, because there's only a day left now, there's not even the possibility of one thing where they go, massive offer, okay, we'll accept that. Arsenal know that by selling Alexis, where it's different to Ox, he must be replaced immediately. Otherwise, it would just I don't even want to bear thinking about the fallout. Where you can go, okay, we've got players that can go in place of Ox and whatnot. With Alexis, no. So Arsenal's stance on it is very clear. The money that they're offering has to be stupid, and we have to have a replacement on top that's near enough like for like right up there where the fans would go.
But who knows, mate? Who knows what's going on behind the scenes?
Well, that's what I mean. But then you know what? I was chatting to Troopz earlier on. I was chatting to him on WhatsApp, but I was saying to him, and I was like, the thing is with this, I look at it, and who could Arsenal buy that would make you turn around tomorrow and go, you know, all right, we sold Alexis to Man City. Fuck me, but look what we've just got. Oh my God! And I look at it and I sit.
Well, I'll say this. Whoever it is, I don't think it matters who it is. He'd be under some amazing pressure.
As far as I'm concerned, there's two players that would appease the Arsenal fans, right? One of them would be Aguero, right? And the other one would have been Mbappe.
Mbappe, right? Yeah.
He's now gone to PSG, so that's
has that actually gone through yet? Because I haven't even.
I haven't gone through yet, but you know, listen. A month ago, we weren't going nowhere. Do you remember Arsene Wenger said no, he's staying with Monaco?
Oh, hey, Lee, could it not be happening because we've made a late bid?
Oh, well, there you go. You know what I mean? Listen, that was the only way that it could happen. Now, I'm not being horrible. If they are to sell Sanchez, and he is, I think the quote is 166 million, well, then do it. Then do it.
Well, yeah, because you would have because I can't envisage Arsenal selling for less than 70.
Yeah.
So let's say 70 million. Let's look at 40 for Oxlade-Chamberlain. So you've just made 110.
Exactly. And then go
where's that fucking Lamar money gone? Add that to it. Bang. There's your 166 million.
Well, you only have to look at the money. The thing is, Troopz, right? That 110 on its own. You're talking if they want 166, he's costing 56 million pounds effectively, and that's not even for another year yet. So it's like, but are we going to get him? No,
hell no.
Of course not. But that's the only way that we'd appease the fans.
Yeah,
you know, it's the only way that we're going to do it. But do you know what?
What about a late bid for Lamar and Mahrez? I'd take that.
No, the thing is, do you know what really winds me up? Yeah. Is the fact that it's Man City number one. I'm sick and tired of Man City coming along and thinking.
I thought them days were done, fam.
Right, they're not a big club, all right. Listen, they're a better club. They're a better club than us right now. Yeah. But they're not a bigger club than us, all right. And they just walk around with their fucking oil money, thinking that there's something special. Now, I've got a few friends that are Man City fans, and I've got no problems with them at all. But some of them are absolute fucking planks, and I just can't be dealing with it. Plus, I've put a lot of bets on for charity with Man City fans saying Alexis won't go there. So I'm fucked. But it's, you know, the silver lining is that, you know, money will be going to good charities. Do you know what I mean? So, but
at the end of the day, guys, money talks, and it's as simple as that. You know, like I was down if you go into Chelsea Tunnel, it's got all their you know, achievements, what they've done over the years, like, you know what I mean? And it's one championship in 1950. And then since the Abramovich years, there's 4 trophies on there. There's this and that. Don't ever tell me that money don't improve it. Manchester City, like, going back through the years, were a yo-yo club, if you be honest. There's up and down, you know, that guaranteed 6 points a season we used to beat them home and away quite comfortably. I can't remember really in those sort of times losing to them that many times. And all of a sudden now they're a powerhouse, and quite rightly so. You know, listen, you don't, you know, they've just gone and signed Walker for 50 odd million pounds as a fullback. You know what I mean? Doubled his money. You know what I mean? They've spent 160 million pounds on fullbacks. You know, we ain't going to be able to compete with him. It's as simple as that. You know, and I do believe that Arsenal don't want to compete with him. I really do. I don't think that we want to compete with him. We proved that in the transfer window. Our competition now is the likes of Liverpool, Spurs and Everton. That's, you know, the other 3, Manchester United, Chelsea and Manchester City, we're never going to compete with them no more, you know, because they've got the money and they're going to outbid us on everything, you know. So let us, if it means Sanchez is going to, I'd rather take 70 million off of them than say 50 million off of PSG, because at the end of the day, it ain't going to matter. They're going to be, they're what, 5 points in front of us now or whatever. By the end of the season, it's going to be at least 20, you know. You know, then we're not going to compete with these teams. And
I think you're being very kind there, saying that our rivals are now Liverpool, Tottenham, and Everton.
Yeah,
I think our rivals now are probably Swansea, West Brom, and Stoke.
Well, it could be. I'm trying to be positive here.
Yeah, but I can't. You know, do we think that? As much as I hate to say it, would you be confident going to Wembley and playing Spurs now? Would you be confident?
I'm always confident going to Wembley and playing Spurs. That's when we turn up.
We haven't beaten Spurs for 3 years in a league.
Well, that's what I mean.
You know, I mean, come on.
It's a good job. It's a good job they're at fucking Wembley this year, blood.
Would you be confident of going to Goodison Park now?
Nah.
Look what happened at Anfield.
Fuck no. I'm not even. I'm shitting. I'm shitting fucking Stamford Bridge in fucking.
Yeah, well, 2 Chelsea's our next away game.
Oh, great.
Got fucking Stamford Bridge in 2 weeks. I'm even debating if I'm going.
I've just seen the first pictures of very grainy pictures, but of Oxlade-Chamberlain in the Liverpool kit.
Great.
And makes
what
me
number is he? What number is he? 21.
He's in a lift. Hopefully, the lift gets stuck and the elevator breaks and it fucking crashes like one of them films or something. He's
right. Let's get
prick.
on to some questions before we start talking about people dying. Just to let you know, the same old Arsenal podcast doesn't endorse death.
I never said die. I said I wanted the lift to break and to fall down.
I've just seen that on the lift. He's definitely got Liverpool kit on underneath. So that's
you can see the yellow crown, the bird and
Let's
stuff.
get on to some questions from people that are watching. Thanks very much. Obviously, there's 4,000 of you watching live. Thank you very much indeed. Record number. Thank you very much for obvious reasons.
They wanted to know about my holiday.
Yeah, they wanted to know about your holiday. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And you can also come and follow us at the same old Arsenal podcast. First question. This comes in from official Justin Goon. What can the average Arsenal fan do without a season ticket to help with the Kroenke out? I would say to that if there's any process happening outside the ground, to bring your body and you know and vent your frustrations. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. So, not that not.
You've got to do it within reason, because at
exactly.
the end of the day, what we know at the Emirates is that the place is run by Nazis, and if you even look at someone the wrong way, they'll take your season ticket off you.
Absolutely.
So just be careful what you do. Do it within. You know, if I can get away with protesting in the Emirates and not have my season ticket taken away, then anyone can do it. You've just got to be very smart. There will be a lot of provocation. Emirates is like Arsene Wenger's fortress. That's his last remaining. You know, it's like when when we won the war and we took over. And we fought back against Hitler and stuff, and he had his last remaining lines to his defense. It was his last remaining place, and that's what the Emirates is like, but it's slowly crumbling piece by piece. If you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be able to get into the Emirates with the "thanks for the memories, it's time to say goodbye" banner and hold it up in the North Bank behind the goal, I'd have turned around and went, nah, no chance whatsoever.
That's when I realised it was his little thing. Because as soon as we pulled out that banner, yeah, shit got mad.
Yeah.
Shit got mad.
Hey. Crazy. It's like, you know what I mean?
When that comes out, yeah, oh my God, it's like fucking motherfuckers want to cry, blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone tried.
Here's a question for you, Troopz. What would you do if Sanchez leaves and we sign no one?
What would I do if Sanchez leaves and we sign no one?
Ooh.
I probably wouldn't go to a game.
You'd probably stop going, would you?
Yeah. But yeah, man, fuck it. I'd stop going. What's the point of me going to watch my team get beat week in, week out? That's just boring, bruv.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Because they're taking the piss. So fuck it, I'll start taking the piss.
Lee, here's a good
Though.
Lee, here's a good one for you. And it's actually quite deep, actually. This one comes in from Aswath. I hope I've said that right, mate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your question. Lee, how do I disconnect? I can't believe I'm reading this. This is the state of it now. You can take the piss all you want, but if this boy feels like this, I mean, this is awful. How do I disconnect from watching Arsenal? It's really taken an emotional toll, which I can't handle anymore. I mean, that's horrible. What is this club doing?
That's a difficult one. I'll tell you what, I felt like that, you know, coming away from Stoke, and sometimes you can be a little bit irrational. I was really angry after that game. I've got to say that. And going back on the coach on the way back home, I was very, very quiet. But that took a lot out of me. I must admit, Sundays took a lot out of me. The enthusiasm for Arsenal has gone. I can only think, like, you know, buy yourself a dog and take it walking when the games are on or something like that. It's been, you know what I mean? Something that.
But don't call it anything. Don't call it.
And don't call it fucking Alexis or something like that. The fucking thing won't come back. But
DT, which manager would you like to take over at Arsenal?
Fucking Mr. Blobby. Jesus Christ, I'd rather Troopz smoking a spliff fucking take over, and I reckon he could get more out of him.
I would.
I'm telling you, it's just, you know, the ship sailed on so many managers, hasn't it? You know, if Arsene Wenger would have left after we beat Hull in the cup final, which is when I wanted him to go, as the perfect send-off, then you think of the managers that were available. You know, Pep was available. Klopp was available. Do you know what I mean? It's just, even Ancelotti. It's just, oh man, so many managers. And because of his whole selfishness, we have lost out on so many managers. I believe that his selfishness cost us from getting Allegri for this season.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know, there's another manager, and I just sit there and I'm just like, and you wonder why fans are starting to resent the guy, and you wonder why fans are starting to hate him. And I know that might sound like a strong word, but honest to God, people are genuinely starting to hate the man, despise him. You know, and it's just, I see it with my own eyes in the stands. I see it. I hear some of the things that are being said about him. I see the abuse he was getting when he was walking down the tunnel at Stoke. You know, and it's just, it was the one thing that I feared this season, that he carries on, we have a bad result, and then boom, it all turns poisonous again. You know, and it's just, we're in for a serious 2 years, man. I'm telling you, we are. If he hasn't changed in this window after last season, and if he hasn't changed and made things different after everything that went on last year, he never ever will.
Personally, though, DJ, I think he's done. I think that after this transfer, I can't see no way back for him.
I can't.
I really can't.
I can't. The thing is right.
Oxlade-Chamberlain will never be sold.
Wait, his words.
Just seen a picture of him in a Liverpool shirt.
Yeah, his words were 100%. Now, we've all seen the quotes put online about previous things that Arsene Wenger said about Nasri, about Adebayor, about this and that. But he's always turned around and said, we hope to not lose this player. We don't want to lose this player. There's always been that little, you know, oh, well, it could still happen, you know, because he's not completely shut the door. But when you say 100%, and what he also went on to say was, it doesn't matter the situation, he's the end result is the same. He's not going. End of story. So I want someone in the first press conference next week, before we play Bournemouth, to turn round and read him his quote and say, could you explain to me why Oxlade-Chamberlain's lining up for Liverpool this weekend and not Arsenal after you said that? Someone ask him, please, I beg you. And I'll tell you something, I've got a feeling that tomorrow is possibly going to be the worst day in the history, in Arsenal fans' lives since the Champions League final. That's how bad I think tomorrow's going to be.
Let's move on to the next one. Lee, we'll ask you this one. How bad is the atmosphere going to be if Alexis goes? And has there been a sale of a player in recent history that is comparable? Good question.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to lose my stuff over Sanchez because, you know, I can go back to when I was a kid when Liam Brady left Arsenal. You know what I mean? He was just as good as Sanchez. You know what I mean? And he left. You know what I mean? Like before that, Frank Stapleton went to Man United. You know, we've had big players leave before. You know, Robin van Persie was a big one to lose without a shadow of a doubt. You know. So we've had to endure it. I'm hurt. I'm physically at this moment in time. I'm hurt, but I've just seen Oxlade-Chamberlain in a Liverpool shirt. It's done me. I'm going to say that now because that shouldn't be allowed to happen at our football club. I'm sorry, shouldn't. Young talented player like that being sold to Liverpool. On the back of that, I will say that a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? With the Suarez thing, they wouldn't sell to us, would they? And here we are, a couple of years later. I'd rather him sit in the reserves for a year than him go there because what they done to us a couple of years ago. Yeah. They mugged us off with that Suarez thing.
Yeah.
And they've gone and done that. We've then gone and done business with them. Unbelievable. But
Troopz, this one comes in from Pedro Wilson. This one's actually for you, mate. What will it take for you to get your spirit back?
Wenger to leave.
Wenger to leave. Simple as that.
Simple as, fam.
Simple as.
Do you know what? Do you know what? That really pisses me off. It really annoys me. Yeah, because like people who don't actually know the story behind it. Yeah, is that I only met Troopz through Arsenal Fan TV, and we become mates and everything else. He's like my family now. Yeah, and this is what going to football's all about. Okay. Lee's old enough to remember the Highbury days and stuff. You always had, when you were standing, you always had the same place every week.
Yeah.
There was you never just scattered. It was the same. And, you know, if you was running 5 minutes late, then the guy that always stood next to you for season after season would make sure that your space on that barrier was still there for you. No one would ever take your space. There was always your own little pieces. And you was a family. You didn't know that guy next to you, but by the end of that season, he was your brother. You knew everything about him. And this is the same thing. And maybe it's because I'm older that I've developed that. And it's, you know, I got to know Troopz and I know so much about him. I know his family and his children and everything else. And I was feeling like he was after Sunday, where I was kind of just like, is this again, really? And then I saw him and how dejected he was, and it made me angrier because I know how he normally is. And I was like, how can they do this to people? Because he's not the only one. Millions of people, even if you weren't at the game, I can't imagine what your emotions must have been feeling after that game. People would have felt like Troopz. People would have felt like me. You know, where Troopz is down here, I'm up there in terms of anger. But what fired me up was seeing him like that, because I just sat there and thought, what is this club doing to us? What are you doing? We've all been to games where, you know, we put 100% in, but we still lost the game, and we've tried, and yeah, you're upset and you're a bit disappointed, but you can go, you know what, they've done everything today. You know, but when you see that, nah, can't do it anymore, man. Can't. It's dejecting.
This one comes in from Joseph Tell, and I'll come to Lee on this one. How bad of an impact will this have on Lacazette? What must Lacazette be thinking, sitting at home now? What a question. What a question.
Great question. I'd imagine that he'd be saying, like, you know, exactly what we're saying. You know what I mean? He's been led up the garden path, hasn't he? Not just him, the tank as well. Because, you know, I'd imagine he had a pick of a few clubs and all and decided to come to Arsenal. I've got to say, he's got to feel...
Exactly, it is. Well, I'm sitting here thinking now, going, fucking hell, that boy must be...
I bet he's looking at his contract now, seeing if I've got a get-out clause or something. Like, you know what I mean? I'd be really... I'd be going into the manager tomorrow. If it was me, if I was a player now, whether I'd be him, Aaron Ramsey, or Koscielny, definitely Petr Cech, because he's been sold a false ticket as well, if I'll be honest, you know what I mean? And I'll be going in the office going, what the hell is going on here? You know what I mean? I've come here at Arsenal Football Club, not because of the money, because you don't really pay that great, but what I've come here is for the prestige of the club and to have a chance of winning things. But what, you know, what are you doing? You know, when you talk about the fans have got something to say, I think the players are saying it as well. They're saying it on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, they're saying it by now. You know,
it looks like they're doing what Chelsea did to Mourinho.
Yeah,
it is very much. Yeah,
same thing. I can see.
The only difference is that we haven't got an owner like Abramovich that will listen to the fans.
Who will be like, you know what? Yeah, this got to pull us through.
And this is the thing, and it's just like, I'm not going to tell you where this come from, but after the Leicester game, a friend of a friend out in America saw Stan Kroenke, and he was in a restaurant and he was just talking, and he was sitting there thinking, see, I want to go and say something, and he plucked up the courage when he walked past him. He had a couple of minders with him, and he went past him and he went, great result the other night. And that Stan, yeah, you know what I mean, in the Leicester game. Stan just looked at him and was like, hey? And he was like, great result the other night. And he just did not have a fucking Scooby what he was going on about.
Yeah.
And that is just Stan Kroenke. The guy hasn't got a clue.
What did you call him last year? A parasite.
A parasite. Toupee wearing parasite.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think that name first came out on the Gooner Talk, if I'm right.
Yeah.
One night.
Do you know what? I can't stand the guy. I can't stand
I'll ask a question. I'll ask a question to you guys. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm playing table tennis with my brother, or I'm playing snooker against somebody, my instinct is, it doesn't matter what it is, I want to win because I'm competitive. I'm a sportsman. I want to win. All right. So how can 11 blokes of professional footballers go out there like they did on Sunday and be prepared to lose and not? I can't get my head around that. So how bad? Because I can say that now. If I was if I got the old snooker table out there and we had a game, I'd try and whip the arses and I'd have the ump if you beat me. So how can they allow this? How can you go so down to allow to be beaten?
Well, it's the leader,
professional sportsman.
It's the leader.
It is.
I would
surely
love
you want
to
to win.
be a fly on the wall in that dressing room at half time because you know they come out in the second half against Liverpool and they didn't make even any more effort.
No.
They step it up. They didn't go up.
But you know the thing, Craig, is that Wenger in his press conference turned around and said we started dominating.
Dominating which blood club?
Dominating what?
Dominate what?
Yeah, unbelievable comment. Unbelievable.
Do you know what I mean? And you wonder why we sit here disillusioned. And like you said, I don't know whether some people have got the competitive nature in them or they haven't. And it's like, you know, when I go around to see my mum and that, and I take my kids with me, and I've got like my 6-year-old, for example, he likes to race me from the car to my mum and dad's gate. Do you think he's ever beaten me? Nah. Sorry, mate, it's not happening. You're not beating me. I don't care if you're 6 and I don't care if you cry because I keep beating you. When you beat me, you beat me. Learn.
Yeah, that's like me and little man. When we play FIFA, when I bang a goal, I fully go in his boat and I go, loser, loser. I'm ripping him, blood. Like, you understand? I'm showing him, because I'm showing him from young. You don't have that loser mentality, fam. You have to have that winning mentality, blood.
Nice.
I'm a bad loser, and
we fucking all are bad losers, blood. Fucking hell, mate.
I remember when Lee Gunner beat me at FIFA 7-1. I didn't speak to him for about 3 weeks.
I remember that. Do you know what? I remember when I come on one of your shows once and ruined it. You didn't speak to me for about 3 weeks either.
Yeah, that was justified, wasn't it?
That was the birth of Hello Boys and Girls.
Well, I'll take credit for that then.
You know what I mean? That shit was legendary. Hello Boys and Girls.
Anyway,
you can't have a podcast without DT in the building. Yeah. Shut up, you floppy-haired twat.
I still have nightmares about that.
Oh my God!
I wake up in a cold sweat. Now, the last question has come in from Lee Gunner, actually. He wants to know this. Look, all the fans are talking about a boycott, right? We're talking about boycotts. Other people are talking about boycotts. There's Arsenal fan groups that are talking about boycotts, protests, yada, yada. This is a really good question. The boycott ain't going to work unless 60,000 people boycott, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is, if 60,000 people did boycott, let's say, for example, now the Emirates was empty for the rest of the season. Just in hindsight of people protesting right now, at the end of the year, those season tickets are going to be up for renewal. They'll just sell them to another 60,000 mugs who will take it. I said, I done a video earlier on Mem's full-time reaction, and I said that if people who want the piss taken out of them, and people who don't want to be treated as a fan, or who are obsolete to the board and things like that, give them to them. Let them have them, because it won't be long until they'll be doing the same thing, and we'll all be able to sit back and say, well, not me, because I can't. There's so many things I'd like to turn up to. I can't. I can't do it. My job says I can't do it. Well, not job says I can't do it. It's because I work stupid. Cost of flights, this, that, and the other. I can't get there, so I have to try and do my bit here, and on Twitter and stuff like that, endorsing people's ideas and stuff. But we're going to be sitting back and saying to them, that 60,000, we told you, but you wouldn't listen. Because as long as Kroenke's in, it's going to happen year after year after year.
That's what, yeah, see?
The biggest problem, right, and I've seen it, is that after a game, for example, we lose 5-1 at home to Bayern Munich. We could, we lose to Liverpool last season at home 4-3. I come out the stadium and I want to batter someone. I'm just absolutely raging. I'm fuming. And then there's people going in the shop buying fucking Saurus toys and fucking whatnot. And that's why I included Gunnosaurus out in one of my tweets yesterday, because I've had enough of him as well. I don't want any more dinosaurs in this club. We've already got Arsene Wenger, so I want them all out. Do you know what I mean? As far as
who's going to shoot the footballs into the crowd at half time?
I'll go up. I'll go on.
And who's going to play with the kids at half time when they do them penalties and the clocking?
No, fuck that shit. Fuck the junior gunners and everything, man. Fuck that. Do you know what I mean?
Let's not. They're the next generation.
We'll bring them up right, and we'll teach them. We'll stick them next to the away fans, and we'll have it out with them, and we'll fucking do it how we used to in the old days. Don't worry about that. You can be a mascot every now and then. Just fuck all this shit. It's the club is just a PR. It's just one big PR spin. It's just all one big money making machine for Stan Kroenke. That's what it is. And at the end of the day, if, for example, an Usmanov or a Dangote, the Nigerian guy, came in, he is Nigerian, isn't he? Yeah. Just making sure I don't want to offend the African listeners or whatever. If I've got the place wrong, but
I don't talk a little to holler at him, blood.
Yeah, and it's just like if they came in, right, and they were spending money and everything else, and we was competing and we was doing all these things that we want, none of us would care about going into the shop and buying free kits and training gear and all this bullshit, because we would be getting something back. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, that's exactly right.
And that's the thing, and it's just, but we're not getting nothing back. And I'm sitting here tonight, and you know what? I was sitting with my dad and my brother this week, and we were having a chat. And you know, my dad's been going since the 40s. Okay, my dad was one of the people that was protesting to get Terry Neal out when they're standing outside Islington Town Hall, and they're all going mad and demanding that they come out to speak to him, and they did. And within 2-3 weeks, I think it was something like that, he was gone. You know, can you imagine us going to, you know, say Stan Kroenke's in Islington Town Hall, and loads of us all turn up there going, we demand to speak to you and everything. Do you think he'd come out and talk to us?
Of course he wouldn't.
Of course they wouldn't. You know what I mean? And it's just, I feel so detached from Arsenal Football Club. You know, Lee's been going decades. I've been going decades. Troopz been going years. And it's just like, I've never, ever, ever felt so detached from this football club. I just feel it hurts, man. It really does hurt. And people just, they don't get it. It's not, people sit there and say, just stop going or this and that. Listen, when you've been doing it so long, man, it's fucking difficult because you cling on to that last bit of hope. You cling on.
And it's part of your life. Like it's in your routine.
Like DT said earlier, I saw a video today of someone who will remain nameless going on about how we shouldn't let Arsenal rule our lives and Arsenal isn't the be-all and end-all of our lives and this, that and the other. Well,
wonder who that was, fat
what I say to that is, that's a load of rubbish because although... Now I'm talking from a fan. I'm talking about a fan who can't get there all the time. I ain't religious, right? And I don't care if anyone is religious. If you're religious, that's great. I'm a firm believer in that you believe in what you believe in. But the point I'm trying to get at is Arsenal are my religion. When I watch Arsenal on the telly, that's my going to church. This is my 90 minutes. This is my religion. I love this thing. I love Arsenal Football Club. And for someone to come out and say that I shouldn't let it ruin my life no, don't get me wrong. I don't let it ruin my life. But like DT said, on a Saturday for 6-7 hours after a result, I don't want to talk to anyone. You know, it's no, that's
fucking hell, man.
I think you're right. What you're saying. You shouldn't let it ruin your life.
No, of course
you shouldn't. But it's part of your life. I'll tell you, it's like when I went on holiday this week. You go and see the first question I ask is the football on in the hotel.
Yeah,
the Arsenal game on. That's the first thing I ask. You know, what I mean, not where the pool is, not where the beach is. Like, you know, where is the Arsenal game on? Yep, so then I'm relaxed. I know that it's on. But that's how it's. You know, but it's all that goes with it. It's about my mates that I go with. Some of them can't go as much now because they're married or whatever. Like my mate Steve, I normally go with all the time. He's getting married in a month's time, so he's not been going as much this last year. But you've still got that bond that brings you together. You know, that ain't never going to change. But my dad is a massive Arsenal fan. If it wasn't for my dad, I'd never support Arsenal. And I come in from Stoke the other week. He said, and he come round for dinner next day. He goes, so what time did you get home last night then? So I said, about 1:45, 1 o'clock. And he goes, more fool you. More fool you. He don't even feel sorry for me no more because he goes, he sees it all the time, you know. And that's the problem now, what you've got. There's a lot of fans now that are giving up on them. They are giving up on them. But the other thing is about going into the protest and things like that, is if you've got a fan, and he's going into the Emirates, right? And they say there's us three there saying, don't go in today. You know, it's all right for us to say it because we go all the time. But this family, it might be their first time to the Arsenal.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not going to turn around and say, oh, no, I'm not going to go in. It's their first time. You know what I mean? We ain't going to have the opportunity again. So it's a very, very difficult thing to say, right, everybody not go into the ground. You know what I mean? But you could probably say to that fella, look, don't go in for the first 5 minutes. So when they run out, there's no one there or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what you can do. But it's very, very hard to get 60,000 people on board.
Yeah.
off the same, and I don't know how you're going to do that.
I think
it is difficult.
I think that would be. I think that would be a good thing, actually, Lee. What you just said there is something that. I mean, look, there's plenty of people that leave 10 minutes before the end. That would be a good idea.
It's
10 minutes, Bournemouth game. Don't go in for 10 minutes.
The thing is that, do you know what? It's so difficult as well. And there's too many pussies. There's too many bottle jobs. There's too many people with the same kind of mentality as the manager that they haven't got any, the abuse that I've faced over the last couple of years would have sent some people to suicide. Let's be real. And, some of it I haven't helped because I just bite back. But that's my nature because I don't let people try and talk to me like I'm a fucking dickhead. But it's just like, I'm not backing down from what I believe in. And I believe what I'm doing is right for the football club. And I'm doing it because I love the football club and because I want things to change.
I'll make you right there, DT. But one thing I will say about that is that 2 years ago, if you just stood up and called Wenger this and Wenger that, there'd have been a lot of people going for you. If you do that now, no one really goes for you.
No.
It's turned that much in 2 years. 2 years ago, if you would turn around, he's better dead, saying I think it's going to be blah, blah, blah. But now, I've been at games, you've been at games now. When I was at Stoke, when there was a bloke next to me, he's going, calling him a CU into calling that now. 2 years ago, it'd been a massive fight. Everybody let him do it.
Yeah, and that is one of the big things, and I did see that. And it's just, when I first pulled out the runner a couple of years ago at Hull, and it's quite notorious now that Ian Wright called it a muggy banner, and I called him a prick. And it's just like, we sorted out our differences then. But I listened to him yesterday and what he's been saying all week, and I sit there and I just think to myself, I told you 2 years ago, Righty. I told you. All you had to do from the very beginning, instead of calling it a muggy banner and instead of calling me a bellend for no reason whatsoever, it was you that provoked that response from me because what you said was to sit there and say, right, hold on. This is a guy that's travelled all the way to Hull on a midweek night, right? And after a 4-0 win has still pulled out this banner. There's a reason why he's done this. He's not some plastic support or anything else. Let me find out the real reasons behind this. And when he did, give him credit, a couple of weeks after, and we sat and spoke and everything else, he got an understanding of why I did what I did. And it's just, I see so many of these people that have supported Wenger for so long are now starting to come out and realise what I've said all along and what Lee said and Troopz and what everyone else has said. And, what Martin Keown the other day, he was, without him actually going into Wenger in a certain way, I've never seen Martin Keown like that.
No.
He defends Wenger.
He defends him to the death, blood.
It says,
you know what I mean?
It says absolutely everything that's happening at Arsenal at the moment. I'm really quite worried about what's going to happen. And not knowing what's not going to happen. Tomorrow is transfer deadline day.
Oh Lord of mercy!
Oh Lord of mercy!
Do you know what? I'm seriously, I'm so close, right? I haven't done it since I was a teenager, but I feel like going around Troopz' house and smoking weed just to forget tomorrow.
You got my postcode.
Do you know what I mean? Listen, you know what I mean? I ain't touched that shit since I was a teenager, but it's just like anything just to forget tomorrow. Because the thing is, I've just seen Lee's angry, and we've got a good price for Oxlade-Chamberlain when you think of what he's done over the years and stuff. But I look at him in that Liverpool shirt and I'm fucking fuming.
Yeah.
I'm so angry because I sit there and I think to myself, we shouldn't be doing this. This should not. The only players that we should be passing down to clubs.
Fucking Walcott.
We got Wally fucking
Wally Walcott still there with his fucking B-Tech Mahrez haircut.
You know what I mean?
Shit, yeah? You heard we were rooming with Mahrez. He's like, yo, let me get his hairstyle. Fucking wallad. Fucking
this is what I mean, and it's just so frustrating. It's so annoying, and it's just like, and it makes me angry. And Lee made a really good point as well, that after the way Liverpool mugged us off over the whole Suarez thing, I wouldn't be doing no business whatsoever fucking ever with Liverpool.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? I would have turned around and said, you want one of our players? Here's Debuchy. Now fuck off. Do you know what I mean? That's it. And there's another thing. Is he still going to be at the fucking club tomorrow? Matt Debuchy? Oh, my life.
Probably.
You've got to be kidding me. How is this guy hanging on? This guy is like the Bear Grylls of footballers. Do you know what I mean? It's I
think what we'll do is on that call is we'll end it there. Thank you very much to our guests this evening, Troopz and DT. It's been an absolute pleasure actually listening to you talk about the club. We see your videos on Arsenal Fan TV, but I understand the whole Arsenal Fan TV thing. A lot of people don't. They catch you straight after a result. You can knee jerk. You can do. You can say things. Sometimes you can say things that you don't really mean when you look back on it. But I understand what that's all about, and it's been a pleasure to have you here. It's been a pleasure to have you both actually. Just having a good old chat about the club. Judge, next week.
Next week.
We're going to play a little game.
Yeah, little game like
Arsenal Mastermind.
Yeah.
50 questions. Now, this is for all the subscribers. You listen very carefully now. This is for all the subscribers. Excuse me that while I just mute DT. 50 questions. And we want you, the subscribers, we're looking for 2 subscribers to take him on. So what I want you to do is in the comment section, I want you to type into the comment box, I can beat the judge. Type into the comment box, I can beat the judge. And there's a little thing on YouTube where you can pick a winner for competitions. So I'll do it like that. So there's no cheating. Comment, I can beat the judge, and your Twitter handle so I can get in contact with you just in case you win.
Are you going to beat the judge, though?
Are they going to beat the judge? Arsenal Mastermind, 50 questions.
Judge Dredd.
I know my stuff.
All Arsenal related.
Yeah, all Arsenal related.
Yeah?
50 questions.
Yeah. It'd be very hard because I'm setting the questions.
That's not allowed.
No, it ain't. It's all being done legit, Anybody can join in, so hopefully you two join in and
you two can join in. We can play along at home as well. But if you do beat the judge, I need to see photographic evidence.
And we'll do a little prize. Someone that beats me, if someone does beat me, and if anybody beats, we'll put in a little thing and match. Perhaps we'll try and get a game at the Emirates for him.
There you go. If anyone beats him, he's now saying if anyone can beat him.
And Gaffer sits in hospitality, so you got free beer, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's gone away from us lot now.
You know what I mean?
He's
sandwich brigade.
I never go away from the genuine fans. Never.
Oh, here he goes.
Thank you very much to the 4,500 of you that watched us live this evening. Record numbers. I wonder why, DT.
Hey, you never know. There we go. Wenger out.
Woo!
Troopz, you've been a star. Thanks ever so much for coming with
us.
Troopz. Along with us,
Cheers, DT. Thank you very much.
Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Cronky out.
Perhaps we could do it again sometime during the season and see where we're at. If you haven't followed us yet, please do. Same old Arsenal. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please do. Subscribe button's down there somewhere. Until we see you next week for Arsenal Mastermind with a judge. Try and keep positive.
Wenger out.
Up the Arsenal.
Cronky out.